Yep, there it is, guys. Welcome to Ropeadope TV, Season 2 here at the Ropeadope Room, East Philadelphia. I'm Fabian Brown. I'm here with Mr. Lewis Marks.
Hello, everybody.
We're playing some jazz today, bro.
That's jazz.
Ding, 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 ding,
That is
ding,
jazz. That is some serious jazz.
I mean, Mike Clark with the monster cast of Who's Who on this album. Can I share?
Please do, yeah. But I want to point out right before you begin that this is actually a live recording. Doesn't sound like a live recording in the way they finished it off, but Iridium, great club, New York City.
I love it.
Let's run down the Who's Who.
So obviously Mike Clark holding it down on drums. The legend Mike Clark. Yes, that Mike Clark that you're thinking about. On bass is Christian McBride, which is kind of a throwback to the earlier Ropeadope days, if I'm not mistaken. Is that accurate?
A couple of records with Christian McBride, the Philadelphia Experiment. Probably the second or third record done on Ropeadope, but also we did Live at Tonic with Christian, 2004 maybe, 2003, 2004.
Beautiful, a staple.
Blessed to have another recording with Christian on it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then Donald Harrison Jr. on the alto saxophone, who is also connected with Christian's
uncle.
The lineage is just really there. On tenor sax, we have Rob Dixon. On trumpet, we have Randy Brecker.
I've heard of that guy.
Maybe once or twice. Yeah. I don't know. And on piano, Antonio Ferrero, to start off with that solo up at the top. The song is titled Straight No Chaser. But they don't play the head until the end, which is, I don't know, kind of...
Things that you understand. Got it.
Things that I need.
And the audience as well.
It's like, what's going on? Yeah. Not our first album with Mike Clark.
I just love Mike Clark. Sorry to interrupt you, man, but just like he's the embodiment of vibrant jazz to me. Like he's loving it. He calls it a sport. Just going out and playing. And just as long as he can go out and play and improvise and do the thing, he's good at 70. You know? It's a wonderful thing.
On the road at 70. Drums and everything, just going for it.
I'll be lucky if I make it home tonight, you know? I won't travel in the world with my drum kit. You know?
So that album is set to come out this summer on Ropeadope.
This is a super sneak peek, by the way.
Sneak peek.
Just want to point that out. We weren't supposed to do that.
That's all right. That's all right. Some monster greats on that, and I like this next one coming up.
All right, man. That was a U-turn down an alley in a city somewhere.
I dig it. I so dig it. That's NIEVERGELT.
Derek NIEVERGELT. Yeah. He was down here in East Philly last week.
Yeah, first time I met him, and like most of the artists on the label, it wasn't handshakes. It was like bro hugs all day long. Another great. Amazing human being via Adrian Harpham.
Yes, this is coming out on Modern Icon Recordings.
Okay. The album is titled The Jewels, set for release on June 14th of this year. What can I say? The lineup is crazy. I think what's even crazier than the lineup is the production, because that's Adrian's staple,
what he does,
man.
Yeah.
That's his bag. Everything that he puts his hands on is just, it goes through the ringer and then back again and then rinse and repeat, and then maybe he's done.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, we don't really think about that, but everything that you hear that's coming from Modern Icon Recordings has that. I don't want to call it a filter because it's a lot more work than that.
Sure.
But I will, for the sake of brevity. It's that Adrian Harpham sound.
Yep.
You know.
Very distinct. 100%.
Yeah. Funky. Subterranean. It's sort of like you're in your room with the headphones on, kind of a vibe.
Well, that's what you need to do, because if you're just hearing these albums, through the speakers, you're not really doing the justice. You got to put some cans on, and you really got to be immersed with the sonics of this music in this album. So, again, NIEVERGELT, The Jewel, set for June 14th. Nice. Modern Icon via Ropeadope.
Speaking of U-turns and wrong turns and strange turns and changes,
all we have to do is find it. There's a hero inside you, a hero inside me. All we have to do is find it.
There it is.
There's something about the bass when you play it as not a rhythm instrument, not as a rhythm instrument, when you just start, when a master can create almost orchestral sound from just moving around the fretboard and treating it gently, if you will.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's Bubby Lewis, right? So he's I wouldn't call him a technician, but the boy's bad, man. He has mastery of everything here, but he's selective. He's not all choppy. He can play some beautiful melodies on there, and obviously you're hearing the song production and the songwriting. This album is absolutely stunning in all regards, because I can't put it in a genre here or a genre there, and
it's in the Bubby Lewis genre. He's basically expressing his world, and it's so unique and so different, right?
It's beautiful. I mean, if you're not familiar with Bubby, maybe you've heard of Snoop Dogg, maybe you've heard of Lupe Fiasco, Kim Burrell, Jhené Aiko. Maybe those names ring a bell. And associate that with Bubby. It's just amazing. So that's set for release July 19th, 2019.
Dig into that record. It's something. First single's coming out with Jhené Aiko.
Let your body feel your soul. Wind it up, lose control. Let your body feel your soul. Wind it up, lose control. Let your body feel your soul. Wind it up, lose control. Let your body feel your soul.
The dreams that we stalk, or the dreams that spark us lose their passion, their fire on the tongues of rumor, or whatever others may think of us. We become casualties of war, even before the war has begun. We lie down and surrender to the slightest thought that someone else may possess something that we can't find within ourselves. I am a poet. What do you want from me? Guilt, remorse, dame, ranking serial number? How much more of a companion and peasant must I be? There is no pain that you can give me that I haven't already given myself. From niggerdom.
I got it. Turning that down right now is kind of the way that I've approached the Last Poets record. There's so much power in one verse. It bends my mind.
Yep.
The dreams that we stalk, or the dreams that stalk us, whatever. You're like, I need a year, a month, a week, 10 years to think about what that really means. So I really had to turn this record sort of on and off. And yet it can play in the background and I can just enjoy the groove at the same time.
You got me, because you're heavy on the lyrics, right? On the words, on what they're expressing, and then I have to say, Jamal Adine on the bass, laying the bass line down and producing this whole entire thing. It's the best of both worlds. You get the vibe, you get the groove, you get the feel goods, and then you get the message that just fucks your mind up.
Yeah. And this song, I want to point out, so we're kind of giving a sneak peek on this. I don't know if this episode will air prior to the release, but this song is in the middle of the album.
Okay.
And appropriately so. It is the centerpiece. In this track, we have Umar bin Hassan, Abiodun Oyewole, of course, Baba's on percussion throughout, but we also have the guests, Wadud.
Yep.
And
Ursula Rucker.
Ursula Rucker is not on this track.
On this track on the album.
But
okay.
Wadud. So basically, this song called Soul Reflection is the centerpiece and the full message of the album, with each of the poets intertwined. So it starts out with Umar with his particular cadence, and I don't really know how you put these cats together. I mean, I know they're the last poets. They're in the same quote band, but they have completely different delivery.
Yeah.
So he's mixed different delivery from several different poets with just a driving, almost like tribal rhythm behind it, and that's just putting the cadence and the music together. Now you have the message, right? So it's a story. It's kind of like watching a show that has message from beginning to end. And and then the music brings you back to center, right? So you just have to dig in and let it unfold. I mean, the messaging of the last poets is becoming clearer to me the more I learn about them, the more I listen to this record and past records, and that is like, shit is fucked up. You're part of it. Have you looked inside to see how you're fucked up? And how you're gonna fix it?
That's it.
And let's all get to love and dignity as quickly as we possibly can. That's the battle, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
these are, I think, the smartest people I've ever met. The wisest people I've ever met.
You heard Vivian Sessoms at the Brooklyn Bowl the other week say, the musicians, the artists, they are the next wave of the people who are communicating, the suffering, the pain, the beauty, and the joy all in one conversation.
Because they've got a key
Yep.
to be able to transform it. They have a method. Creativity, music, poetry is a method of taking. So for all the people that are out there that are afraid, get into creative things, because these are wise people who have been able to take that suffering and transform it.
I love it.
And they teach me that, and I'm not worthy, but I'm ready to try. So
Transcending Toxic Times, set for release May 10, 2019.
And now we go south and slightly east.
Good call.
Saxophone player, yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, here's what I'll tell you about Mr. David Sanchez. Not a rookie. It's not his first time around. His tone and his sound is unmistakable. As soon as you hear that first note, the horn players know exactly who that is, right? Because he has his own personality, his own voice.
I know just from recently listening.
Yeah, it's distinct, right? You can tell, him versus maybe a Michael Blake or whomever. Insert whatever tenor saxophonist you want to put in there. But this album tells a little bit more of a story and a narrative of his heritage, of his coming to being. It's a very personal album and
emotional.
A very emotional album. It came to us via Christian Scott. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Christian and David were talking, and we got the call.
We get the call.
Yeah. I really, there's something about any instrument that you have to breathe into, that is compelling. The most interesting parts for me are when I can hear the breath, when I can feel it. Unlike guitar, I really don't want to hear your fingers on the fretboard, but with the saxophone, I want to hear you take an in-breath, and there's an emotion there. And I'm not saying that everybody hits it. No. But David, I'm ready to cry right now. For him, for Carib, what he's talking about is the diaspora. He's talking about Haiti. He's talking about Puerto Rico throughout the album. But I chose this track because it was particularly, I don't want to say sad, but lamenting, I guess, is maybe the right word. And it transports me. I feel like I'm in that place in the islands somewhere.
I'm listening to you and I'm hearing his tone, because up to this point, whatever, we're 3-4 minutes into the song, and he's intentionally chose to not be technical, because he can be, because he has that facility.
He knows how. Yeah.
He's chosen throughout this duration to be very lyrical, and again, expressive in his tone and in his voice. And I'm looking at the title. So the song is titled Canto. So, my bad Spanish. I'm like, I know cantar means to sing in Spanish. So I'm like, let me do a quick little Google. Is there a relation to the song title?
You don't have to say that. You can just.
All right. Well, I just.
They saw you do that.
Well, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. My mom should be very, very, I don't know, disappointed or mad at herself for not giving me the tools that I need to be fluent in Spanish.
Mom, you can do it.
Mom,
Google
if you're
will
watching,
help.
Google will help. Google Translate.
So canto means?
I was getting there. So in English, one of the sections into which certain long poems are divided, right? And then I'm like, well, let me, Google Translate that a little bit, right? And let me go into, here we go, because we can do this in real time, right? Singing.
There you go.
Come on. That's a high five for me, Mom. You didn't teach me that word, but that's okay. He's singing through that thing, man. He's singing. So this album, again, is...
the mastery is amazing. So it's not just technical skill. It's being able to express yourself in pure being, transform your suffering into a beautiful lyrical piece.
Joy and bliss, man.
That you're performing.
I love it. Carib set for June 7th of this year.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
So now we jump, another U-turn or left turn or right turn. Jared Pauley, New York City.
Yeah. It's
Funny
funny.
that Jared.
Here at the Ropeadope room.
Yes.
He was playing with
Middle Blue
with
Brad Farberman,
Yeah.
who has an album coming, by the way.
So funny.
And Mike Clark was the drummer. Yeah.
That's right. The connection. I remember, in fact, sitting right here, close to here with Jared. We did a live show here at the Ropeadope room with Middle Blue, like you said, and he's like, I got an album coming out in 2019. I'm like, that's great. He's like, yeah, it kind of has a little, little flair, a little Latin flair to it. I'm like, that's great. Can't wait to hear it. Like A&R is not my department. Talk to Lewis, right?
I didn't know you had that conversation.
Yeah.
But Jared was the guy in the room that day who's just like, people come in and sometimes they're doing their thing, right? And some people are chatting, some people are setting up, some people are very introspective. Jared was just kind of had that presence, just like, okay, I'm good, I'm set up. He was just on the game, and him being on his game kind of spread to everybody else. And it's funny when you think back and remember moments. I can see Jared in the room, just sort of like intense and focused, but not so introspective and inwardly focused that you're like, oh, stay away from that guy. It's just like, yep, here we are. This is what we're doing today. Like, this is the tone. Serious cat.
Yeah, and he's bad too. He's bad on that board. He listen. He knows his way around the instrument. And this album on Capitol Street, set for release again this year, May 31st. You put together quite a playlist today, Lewis.
Well, it's not a hard thing to do at Ropeadope, Fabian, as you well know.
This is true.
And I don't want anybody out there to think that I put too much thought into this. I grabbed a few songs from the catalog, popped them into a playlist, and they were wonderful. And you can do that at home.
That's it.
It's pretty easy.
Well, if you're at Ropeadope, I do want to say a couple shout outs and thank yous if that's
Absolutely.
where
we're ready to wrap it up. We're going to take it out.
First is to the crew, because it's the machine behind the two dudes on the sofa that keeps this thing rolling and rolling. So
I just drink and talk. That's all I do.
Shout out to Felix Agosto. Am I saying that right? Agosto? Felix? Am I saying that right? All right. Well, no. He's like, no.
I'm going to try. Felix Agosto. Better? We'll work on it. Come back next week, folks. I got this one. Steven Yashevsky.
Is that right? I would have butchered that one.
I practiced that like a bunch, yeah. I haven't practiced Felix. And Mr. Nick Perry.
Oh, man, Nick Perry. The man with the master plan. Pots and pans.
Pots and pans, Nick Perry.
Make sure you're subscribing to our channel. Make sure you're leaving some comments. Let us know. Give us some feedback, Ring the bell for notifications so you get all of our new things coming out. And, support these artists, guys. Ropeadope.com. Go to their Bandcamp. Check out their music. Put it on Spotify. Put it on your playlist. Share, comment, all the fun stuff, because it's not easy being a musician.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. It's like, if you watch this show, share it, let people know, get people to support, because, ask people to support it, just spread the word, I mean, it's a hard time. It's a hard time for musicians, and they're great people.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Lewis.
Mr. Brown, thank you. Thank you.